Past week. Definitely one of the things that we got to make sure that we show up is our run fits. We got to stop the run. Kentucky does a great job of running the football. I think Rodriguez had probably 125 yards rushing last week. Very dynamic football team. When you look at their offensive line, it's probably, if not one of the best, if not the best, one of the best in the SEC. So we got our hands full up front. Very massive. They come off the ball, do a great job, and they do an outstanding job for us protecting the quarterback as well. On the outside, when you look at their receivers, Robinson transferred from Nebraska. The guy's phenomenal. Can take the top off at any moment. And Ali, as we know, what he can do, and he did it last year. So it's a challenge for us, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
You mentioned the rushing ability of Kentucky. They now had a quarterback who threw for over 400 yards, I think, the other day. What does that dynamic add to their offense?
Well, I think it's just exactly what you just said. Their balance, it creates a lot. And when you can run the ball and then also create the play action off of it, it makes them a very explosive offense. So we got to do a great job of trying to make these guys one-dimensional, which is, number one, stopping the run first and making sure that we don't give up the big shots over the top.
Steve, I know there was a lot of talk last spring about playing a little less man and more zone. Did you guys play more man than you planned on Saturday? I know Coach Stoops said he thought you were in it a lot.
When you look at the film, yes, we did, based off the situation in the game, just really trying to create a little bit of pressure up front and try to get out the quarterback, which I thought we did pretty good at times, ending up with 9 sacks. So we got to do a much better job for us getting pressure up front without blitzing all the time. So that's one of the key things that we're looking to do this week.
Stuff in the run defense, easily fixable? What did you feel like you fixed it overtime during the game on Saturday once you got in the second half?
I do. When you really look at it, it wasn't really like a lot of problem runs. It was really one guy at one point in time not executing and doing their job. So we got to do a much better job of really being disciplined, still working out fundamentals and technique, and really just staying into our gaps.
Martez on Saturday said something. You created some sort of play like right on the fly, like in the ground or something like that. Like, what do you remember about that at all? And just how much of those adjustments do you like to do in the game?
Well, I think at any time when you know exactly where they're going within the flow of the game, and there's something that you can try to create for your players or create a spark. I knew they were doing something, and I just tried to fabricate something on the sideline and put guys in position, and we ended up getting a sack off of it, which really helped us in the end in the fourth quarter.
What impressed you the most about Chris Siegfried, I guess, on Saturday?
Well, number one, being an offensive guy, coming over here and having the first shot at playing defense and starting, I thought he performed well. The lights weren't too big for him, number one, and I thought he did a good job in coverage. He made a great play down the sideline and raking the arm, something that we teach and talk about all the time. So he's only going to continue to get better. Our biggest thing as a team right now, most importantly, the defense, is game 1 to game 2. We got to make a major step in our improvements, and that's what we're looking to do this week.
A couple new guys played well, Blaze and Kale. Were you expecting those kind of performances from?
Well, I was hoping so. They had a great training camp. They did some good things. So you never know until you get in the game exactly how it's going to go. So the way those guys stepped up and performed, I was excited about that.
How much can you take from matching up with Coach COHEN when you guys were both in the NFL?
Well, I'm sure he's probably looked at me just like I looked at him with the Rams. He looked at Cleveland, probably Carolina. So, different personnel, of course, but when you look at the scheme, a lot of carryover on both sides.
Coach, Kentucky has 2 offensive tackles that are of NFL caliber, Darrell Rosenthal and Darian Kennard. What's the plan to attack the edge this weekend?
Well, I think number one is everything we do starts up front. We got to do a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a challenge for us. They do have 2 outstanding tackles. I think their whole offensive line is pretty good. As I mentioned earlier, I think they're probably one of the best, if not the best, in the SEC. So we got to do a great job stopping the run and trying to get pressure on the quarterback.
Sean Robinson came in and played that nickel spot from time to time on Saturday. What kind of flexibility can he bring to that position?
Quite a bit, just because, number one, he's big enough to be able to fit in the core and stop the run. He's fast enough to be able to play out in space. He's played safety, and he has cover skills. So he gives us a lot of flexibility at that position.
Steve, were you impressed with Wingo on Saturday? You got a lot of snaps for a freshman playing his first college game.
I've been impressed with him, since day one, just really his approach and how he practiced. I always like to use the phrase, particularly when you talk about young guys, it's not too big for him. And he stepped up in the same way he played, it's the same way he practiced. So I'm hoping he can continue to progress and get better each and every week.